Today I'm going to be putting on a spin oil adapter for a Land Rover Series. So I got the kit with from Atlantic British. Comes with the adapter and 3 filters and the gasket and hardware and instructions. Okay. The adapter itself, it's pretty big. You're looking at maybe 2.5 inches, 3 inches in diameter. Nicely machined out to mount to the case. And has top on the top of it. That's where the top goes. And then this is the other side is machined. And then this is where the actual filter spins on. And on here is where they have, I think this is a British NPT for your oil pressure gauge. And then this is 1/8 NPT for anything else you want to add on or into your oil pressure, oil gauge, or whatever. So that's a pretty big piece. And it comes with both bolts to attach it. Comes with the gasket to attach it when you put it to the case, to the engine case. There's the other bolt. Nice thing that it comes with Moly original oil filters, so which is really nice, that I always use for all my cars. It comes with a full set of instructions on how to do it, and that's what it kind of looks like when it's attached to the motor. So let's take a look at the engine itself. What do we have to do? Alright, this is the old classic oil canister filter housing right here. And all mine does is leak all the time, and it's probably just my own fault. I'm not good at doing it. So it drips oil out of it all the time, and it sprays oil. So here's your oil pressure for your oil pressure light on the dash. And this is for the gauge on your dash, if you have the gauge. But what we'll be doing is taking the canister apart, draining all the oil out of it. And then over here, we'll disconnect these 2 guys. And then take out these 2 bolts, and the whole housing should come off. Okay. Alright, so I removed the oil canister over here and filter and everything else. So the next I'm going to do is take off the pressure gauge, your idiot light. I disconnected the wire off of it, put it to the side. And this is for your dash light, and this is for the gauge. It's up on the dash. Just your pressure gauge. So I already broke these loose. So little pressure gauge, your sender light has a little copper washer on it. Save it. Then this holds the adapter on for the oil gauge, the actual gauge. It's up on the dash. Watch, there's no copper washers. I don't see any, but maybe it's stuck off to the side. It doesn't look like it has any. So the gauge is now disconnected. So the next thing I need to do is take off these 2 bolts, which I'm using a 16mm. Okay, got the bottom bolt out. You can see it's starting to move. Should come off pretty easy. There you go. Come off. You can see the circle part is very similar to the adapter that goes on there. Okay, here is the adapter and the original canister adapter. You can see this end. This is the top marked on here. When you look, exactly the same, pretty much. Holes and location and everything. It's just now we can put on a regular filter right here. Alright, so this is where your gauge would go in. So what I found looking is that you could put in your regular, just the light gauge. I found that I could put in, this is the pressure gauge on the dash, well, the pressure gauge itself. So you could put this onto here. It already has a copper washer on it. So if you put 2 copper washers on, they're the same as your brake ones, your brake copper washers, and you thread that into it. And it looks like you need to have this pointing up where the gauge actually attaches to. There. And this goes onto there. So it looks like that'll work for our setup for the light and for the gauge. So looks pretty good. I'll clean it up here. It's all dirty. But alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is get the gasket and put tacky gasket sealant on it, and then I'll put it on the bottom of this and put it in with the two bolts that were provided with it, with the kit. Okay, here it is. Got my tacky on there for the gasket. I got the top pointed towards the top, of course. Okay, I got each of the bolts in. Let's just say it was not very easy to get it lined up, but once it's lined up, it's okay. Okay, and I'll take the gauge, the sender, gauge fitting is on. Oil pressure light. Now connected. Okay, grab the filter. I always like to fill my filters up with oil before putting them on. Spin it on. And there it is. Filter's on. It cleared all this. Cleared all this. It's actually a little bit bigger than the adapter, but the seal is the exact same size as the adapter. So again, there's I want to say this is my concern, is I thought there wasn't going to be enough room between the frame rail and the filter. There's plenty of room. Look, you can put a whole hand in there. So it's pretty good so far. So I'm going to fire her up and see what happens. Pressure's up.